Hello everybody, this is Juddie with J&J Outdoor Adventures. If you haven't noticed by now, you should have. I am an amateur radio operator. I've already posted a few videos showing a couple projects I'd worked on, or at least one I know of. And I'm getting ready to do another video on a project I'm getting ready to do. I made the communications box, which is our camp radio. That's what I made that for, to have at camp when we're deer hunting, and the rest of the party, you know, if somebody's at camp, the rest of the party's got those Bofang HTs and we can communicate. This year, while Jared and Alvin and I and AJ was hunting, I killed my 2 deer, and on Thursday I stayed in camp. Jared and Alvin and AJ was up on the mountain. After I'd done everything in camp I could do, clean, mop, sweep, wash dishes, I was outside. I had my Bofang radio sitting on our grill that we have there, and just for see if I could do it, picked up a little speaker mic and held the radio, and I called and said, "Jared, can you hear me? This is Dad." I was shocked. He come back to me and he said, "Yeah, I hear you. Where are you at?" He thought I was on the mountain. He didn't realize I was still in camp. So that's when I decided I need a communications box, and I built that communication box, or camp radio. That way we'll have it there, and I have an antenna for outside to put up, and if somebody's in camp, they have a larger radio to use. But what this video is going to be about is I'm going to build a QRP Morse code, otherwise known as CW, 40 meter rig. I didn't do a video on it, the Pixie kit, which is a little 40 meter transceiver, operates about 350 milliwatts of power. I've used it, I haven't made a contact with it, but using a website called Reverse Beacon Network, where I was on it calling CQ and my call sign, someone heard me and posted it on the Reverse Network, Reverse Beacon Network, and I checked it one day to see was I heard, and sure enough I was heard, and it was a station in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Okay, I'm here in West Virginia, he's in Ontario, and he heard me. I had an in-fed half-wave antenna up, and I can roll it up and put it in my backpack. I can put that Pixie in my backpack. And in fact, it all fits in this. This is one of those dry boxes, storage box from Walmart. And I could actually just put it in there and use this to communicate anywhere in the country in Morse code, and it operates off of a 9 volt or 12 volt battery. And I have a little small Morse code straight key that I built from a mouse trap, and it works great. But it's not about this radio. The radio I'm going to build now is from a company called QRP-Labs. Now, they are actually located in England, and they have a distributor here in the United States. That's the reason why this has a Missouri address on it. But this comes as a kit, and I'll get the camera turned around to show. I'm going to start checking the values on all the components. This is something I have to build. I have to solder it all together. But this has a built-in keyer, so you can use paddles. It has some memories to where you can store a couple messages, I think, maybe 2 or 3 messages. And when I say messages, basically it's, instead of you constantly tapping out CQ, 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 this is, and your call sign 3 times, you can do this and save it in this built-in keyer, and you can hit the button to play, and it'll do it automatically. And then if somebody comes back, you start sending, messages back and forth. But I'll get the camera turned around. I'm not going to make no hour and a half, 2 hour video, but I've seen a few videos on YouTube. Some of them are quite lengthy. Guys go in great detail. So there's no sense in me doing a whole lot of construction and all that video, but I just want to get it out there. The owner of this company, I've emailed him back and forth several times, seems to be a great guy. There actually is a QRP-Labs builders Facebook page that I'm on now, and I've printed out their manual. The manual for building this thing is really intense. It goes through, this is what the rig looks like without its enclosure. Okay, but this is the manual, 141 pages, step by step on building this thing. And I've already read it once. I'm going to go over it again. I'll use it when I'm building. This radio also has its own built-in test equipment to make sure you're building everything correctly and you can align it correctly, so you don't have to have any, I mean, a digital voltmeter. I've got one of these cheap, and it works great. I've used it. Tester to test resistors, capacitors, diodes, transistors. So I'm going to use that to check these components. I'm going to categorize them. I've got a little storage container here to put each part in its right in a certain place, so I know where it's at, instead of just in the bag. So let me get the camera turned around, and you'll see what I'm getting at. Okay, here we are. Got the tester here. Got a storage container here. Put the parts in. Here's packing material. Since I ordered this kit, here it is: circuit board, all the components, standoffs, toroids. Everything you need. It's got a little LED, well, it's not LED, but a display. It's all in this bag. This is the same kit for every radio they have. You know, like I said, there's a circuit board, and everything's in different bags. We'll get into that in a minute. But this bag here is the same for all of them. The difference that it makes is winding the toroids. You've got wire, I can't remember what to call it, but the wire to wind those with. The manual will tell you for whatever band how many turns you got to wind it. But the main thing that determines what band it is this, the low pass filter. Okay, and you have three toroids right here, the wire, some capacitors, and you have to build that. That's for the band you ordered in, because you can order these things, I think, in 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, and even 80 meters, I believe. So there's that. The only thing really in it to check is the capacitors. Make sure the values are right. And when you go to doing all this, you need a good magnifying glass. I've got this. When you put both of those together, it really magnifies. Plus I have regular magnifying glass. Like I said, for tests, to check the resistors and the transistors and the capacitors. And I have this that I just recently purchased. And then I do have my digital voltmeter. This is a Syntec, because of Harbor Freight, the P37772. It works great. I used this when I was building the Pixie kit. Now the difference between the Pixie and this QRP-Labs QCX CW transceiver is the Pixie operates off a 9 volt or 12 volt. This will operate off of 9 to, I'm thinking the manual said 16 volts, but I have to check. To be safe side, I'll have a 12 volt rechargeable battery. But And I have an enclosure coming for this, an aluminum enclosure made by a company in Germany that's just for these kits. But this kit will do anywhere from 3 to 5 watts depending on the voltage of power you're supplying it with. The Pixie, 350 milliwatts with a 9-volt battery. Maximum output is 1 watt. So this has more wattage to it. So let me get these bags opened up, or the other bags in here out, so you can take a look at it. Okay, I've gotten everything laid out, got them out of the bag. You get all these chips that come with it and the sockets. You have this chip, which is the main chip to use. Here's your bag with all your resistors, the crystals you need, your potentiometers that you need, your diodes that you need. Everything is bagged. Here's the T1, I think it's a T130 toroid, and the wire to wind it, standoffs, some electrolytic capacitors, some more resistors. Here is some capacitors, transistors, your knobs for your rotary encoder. Here's your BNC connector. Here's your volume control. All that's in here. And then here is the circuit board itself. And it has 2 surface mounted components done by the factory or the company for you, so you don't have to bother with soldering surface mount items. This is all through hole soldering components. I mean, it's a real good board. Everything's labeled, what goes where. So that's the board for it. So now it's time to start checking everything. These resistors that's on the strips, I'm going to leave them on the strips, and I'd say each strip is a certain resistor. So we'll see here in a minute. As I was putting this stuff away, out of my way, this is the display screen that will tell you what frequency you're on. This chip I was showing you, see, I don't know if it's this one here or if it's this one that's on this strip, is you can actually, this has got a built-in decoder for CW. How good it works, I don't know. I've seen different people's reviews of them, but this little display screen, you know, like I said, it'll give you the frequency, it can give you your battery power. There's a couple jumpers you can set to get signal strength, which is really not a signal strength as more as it is audio strength. So let me get this stuff set up so I can start testing some of these resistors. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resistors here, and these 2 over here, with this LED light I really can't tell. These are a blue with the painted stripes, and I don't have a card that tells you what those stripes mean, but these 2 here, I believe, are chokes. Some people call them inductors, but I think these are chokes because they look green. They don't look, yes, they're green. So right now I'm going to check the resistors. I know you can't see my meter. 32.9. Okay, I'm going to put that in that slot. And I need to get some paper and mark that slot. Okay, check the next the next one. 32.9. That one's 46.8. Got a slot for it. $46.8. I've got the voltmeter set at 200K, so 46.8 is 46.8 K, I believe. After watching my video, you'll understand I am in no ways an electronics expert. If it wasn't for the manual, I couldn't build this. 36.4. Okay, I gotta make a label for that. Check it one more time, make sure I got it right. 36.4. This one says 36 even, but I'm sure it falls in the 36.4 category. And I really should get there's a parts list that's in the manual, and I need to check these off, so I'll be right back. Okay, I've determined these are the 47 microhenry axle molded inductors. 2 of them. I have no way, well, I'll take that back. I said I had no way to test it. Yeah, I do. That's why I bought this. Let me put the notebook out of the way. Take these and kind of bend them over. Where they fit in these slots. Close it. .80 ohms, 0.05 microhenries, and these are millihenries. I think is what that is, mH. And of course the manual says microhenry, so you move, I think, the decimal point, but that's what that one is. I'm going to check the other one just to be sure, but I'm going to put on here 47 microhenries and put them in a slot to themselves. Let me check this other one. .4 ohms, 0.05. So a slot for them. Okay. Now here we go with the diode. And you can check it with the voltmeter. And trying to see which ones these are. I'm looking at the manual. So there's capacitors, semiconductors. So this thing should have a label on it. N5819. This is D3. Let me check it. Should be 5.8. Okay. Now I believe this will also check them. So it checks them. So it's good. So let me make a little label for that one because there's only one of it. One N5819. Okay, got it in there. Now, these are all on strips. Zero it out. The meter, I'm using the meter. .8. .8. .8. Those are under the resistors. I get the book back. Okay, let me take this down a notch and check it again. I believe this is probably, I'll put this on a 200 ohm scale. I'm going to go to 2K scale. 0.99. So this is 20K scale. 0.98. Okay. 1K, and when I tested it, it was 0.994. There's 12, should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the 1K resistors. Roll them up, put them in their own slot. And here's these. .3, and I'm on the 20K ohm resistor. 3.3 right there. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Roll them up. And then here, let's just see how many we got here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There should be 10K. 9.95. Spot for them. So as you can see, I'm getting stuff sorted out and inventoried. Okay. Now I gotta get into another bag because there's some more resistors somewhere. Okay, here's some more components, and we have these I think they're called Xeno diodes. I'm going to get ready to check this one. There's 4 of them. That's all there is. I'm going to check them. See what their values are. And I'm making sure this piece of test equipment works. And sure enough, it does. Now this was only like $12. Came with the... Well, no, I had to buy the case separate. The actual tester itself, already built, was $12, and then it was $8 for the plexiglass case. So I know here's these, so I can check them off the list. And I need to make a label for them. And I've got a spot, I think, for them. Let me check them off. Already done that one. Here's this one. There's 4 of them. These are the 1N4148. And I'll put them here. I've already taken this one out of its spot on here. But there they go. So they're in the compartment. Now I got some more resistors here to check. So I have to see what their values are. I got some capacitors here, got some more resistors on tape right here. So I'll check these and I'll be back. Okay, I've went through all the resistors. The only resistors left is that I can't check, well, I guess I could, but a 500 ohm multi-turn trimmer pot, which I know I've seen it in there. There's a 500K multi-turn trimmer potentiometer, 2 pieces. There's a 5K potentiometer, and then there's a 22K or 10K or 100K trimmer potentiometer. So I know all those are in here because here are 3 potentiometers right there. There's another one. There's another potentiometer right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can check them. Now I'm going to check the electrolytic capacitors, which I've already got them out. And I was looking to see if I had another empty storage slot small enough for them, but I don't. So I'll just have to check them off. Let's see, put these in here like so. Turn it on. $466.2 microfarads. Yep, right there it is. So there's that one. Then we got some smaller looking. Should be 6 of those. 10.58 microfarads. Yep, there's 6 of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I got all those. Okay. So here is all of these electrolytic capacitors. There's 6 of these right here. So I'm going to put them right there with those right there. And then here's the big one, the 470. I'll put it right there. Now, the other capacitors, other than what's in the low-pass filter bag, is in this bag. This has got the knobs and, like I said, the rotary encoder, transistors. So now I got to get these out. And these are small. These little ceramic, I guess they're called ceramic. But let me put what I'm not going to be checking back in the bag, which is the rotor encoder, the volume control, which has a capacitor stuck on it. Okay, got it out. Okay, and here's the B and C connector, which has a capacitor stuck on it. And that looks like it was almost cross-threaded on there. Sure don't want that to happen. Okay, put that in the bag. Put the knobs back in the bag. And there's 2 push buttons. Put them back in the bag. So that leaves all the little capacitors and the transistors. Now, I know you got to be real careful with them. They all look alike, but I think there's 3 different kinds in here. Checking with the magnifying glass and all of the tester. So I'm going to check all these capacitors. I'll check them off on my list here and be back. Okay, I didn't bore you with all the stuff I was doing. I inventoried all the parts. Let me zoom out here a little bit. I inventoried all the parts in the kit. I have everything that I'm supposed to have, and it's all in here. This is my, I didn't take everything out of this because it's just some toroids here and the wire, some pins, and the 4 capacitors that needs for the 40-meter band. Again, here's the screen, and I left some of these components in the bag. I mean, the rotary encoder's there, and the volume control, the knobs, the 2 switches for going through the menus and the programming and everything when this thing is up and running. You know, here is another toroid, the T1, windings for it, the BNC connector, the post standoffs. Got the 20 megahertz crystal in here. The other bag has the 27 megahertz crystal. The transistors are all in here, all 6 of them, plus the other one that's the oddball that you got to be real careful about. And here's your power connector right there. And then in this bag is all the pins, the headphone jack, the key jack, some more pins, potentiometers, the final transistor, so that's there. So everything was here. In fact, when I went through the inventory, I did end up with 2 capacitors that is not on the inventory list. There was a number 181, which is 184 picofarad capacitor, and a number 560, which is a 53 picofarad. Nowhere in the manual does it call for it in the inventory list. So, like I said, I put all the capacitors in one bag. Of course, when I go to put them on the board, I'll have to check the numbers and everything, make sure I get the right capacitor in the right spot. I've got all the chips and everything in here. I went through all the semiconductors and everything is there. That's the chips. There's 6 LM4562s in there. Then the inductors, of course, that's your toroids. Then there was the 2 47 microhenries. I got them in here. And then I went through all the miscellaneous stuff. And the only thing missing, which I'm going to email the owner to find out, did some kits not come with it, or what, but the micro switch, because let me get a photo of the kit. Here's the kit. Now this is without the display. The bottom picture here, has the display on it. This is so you can see how the components all lay out after you're done. But right here is a micro switch, and if you have this out of any type of housing, you can use this as a straight key. That's missing out of this kit. Like I said, I am getting a aluminum housing coming from in fact QRP-Labs sells them, but it's manufactured by a company in Germany, and he gets them and then sells them. It has the places, it's got extenders for the push buttons here, extenders for your rotary encoder and for your volume control. And it's got a cutout for the display, so you can see where you're at. But it doesn't have the mechanism to use this as a straight key on that housing. Of course, I was thinking myself I may modify it and the housings, drill a hole and use the same sort of setup that they have for extending these push buttons here to where if I don't have my straight key with me, I can still send using this. So I want to find out from QRP-Labs if they'll send me this. since it's missing from the kit. I looked through every bag, and of course it was just one big bag and then this little bag, and inside the big bag was all the parts. I mean, here's the big bag. I'll put the circuit board back in it. Was all the parts, and then there was this, but there is no, I've looked to make sure. You saw me in the video take everything out right here, and I've looked and looked, and there is no micro switch. So I'm going to email QRP-Labs right now. They've been pretty quick about responding back. I'm going to tell them I didn't get the micro switch, and I'd like to have it because I had some thoughts on doing a modification to the enclosure that I'm going to get to be able to use that micro switch as a straight key if I wanted to. But again, it's all there. I'm not going to try to start. It's 8 o'clock in the evening. I don't think I'm going to try to start getting into building this tonight. I think I'm going to let it be a weekend project. One of the very first things to install is the IC2 socket onto the main board that holds that 28 pin microcontroller. And like I said, this manual is great. I mean, step by step shows you the direction to put the socket and how the chip goes, shows you where pin 1 is, pin 15. Then you go into installing the DIP integrated circuits, and that's those 6 that come, and then I can't remember what that's called, but that goes there. I mean, what needs to be installed is in red, and once you install it, like here, if you've already got the IC2 socket installed, it's gray. IC4 and IC1, those are already pre-installed at the factory because they're surface mount. Those are already installed, so they're gray. But each step, everything that's in red is your next step to do. This here is putting in the 104 capacitors, the 0.1 microfarads. And you just go on step by step. 103 capacitors, 473 capacitors, 393, 222s, and you keep going. Now, of course, there may be some, I have to check and see, since this kit covers all the bands and the low pass filters for your specific band you're going to be operating it on, there might be some components that don't get installed, so you have to read these. Don't just look at the pictures, you have to read it to install everything. And then like here, this is install capacitors C25, C26 from the low pass filter kit. And then here's the values right here. And you know, if I'm doing the 40 meter, so the values of 680 picofarad capacitor, number 681. There's 2 of those. Got to put those in. If I was doing, okay, here's the bands that they sell the kit for. My earlier statement's kind of wrong. 17 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter, 40 meter, 60 meter, and 80 meter. So not a 10, not a 15, not a 160. So for each one of these bands, it's a different capacitor that goes in for the low pass filter. And here's the other 2 capacitors that goes in, 270 picofarad, number 271, and it just goes on. Now here, for the 40 meter, you use the 56 picofarad, number 560. Okay, that's probably, instead of having spares, since I have the 40 meter kit, let me look back. 560, yeah, that was one I said it was an extra. No, that's because I'm doing the 40 meter kit. The installed capacitor that I need to put there for C30 is a 56 picofarad labeled number 56. Well, it read on the test meter 53 picofarads, but it is numbered 560. So that solves that issue. Those aren't extra. Capacitors C5 and C8. Used for 40 meters, I use a 39 picofarad labeled 390. Okay, I got that one. Yeah, it's in there. Not used on every band. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. You gotta read, and step by step. Step by step. If you can solder, you can build this. There's no reason why you can't. The hardest part of this whole kit, building it, is going to be when you go to do the toroids, whatever they call it, where you got to do these windings. The T1 is the one that's most difficult because there's a primary and 3 secondaries. The primary has 5 windings, secondary 5 windings, secondary 1, secondary 2 has 5, and the secondary 3 has 38. So you end up with 8 taps on this thing. So you got to get that done just right. But they give you detailed instructions how to do it, little tips on doing it with one piece of wire, or not doing the 38 and then do 5 and then do 5. You do one piece of wire, count your turns, leave a little extra, twist, start your next turns. So it's not that hard. Like I said, I've watched several videos and I've built 2 Pixie kits. I don't think I'll have a problem building this. But it goes through, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but it goes through, shows you how to hook up your rotary encoder and your volume gain control and left and right button. And then you get into adjustments and alignment, and all that you need to do it is all built in. So it's simple. So I'll post more, or I'll add more to this video when I get started building it.